Hello! I'm so glad you're joining us today to learn about one of the most incredible women in American history. I'm going to give you a few clues and you'll have to guess who she is. Here's our first clue. She led the slaves to freedom on her railroad, but she has never conducted a train. She was a nurse, a spy, and a fearless leader. And she was a fierce advocate for women's rights and suffrage. Did you guess it yet? That's right, it's Harriet Tubman. Let's learn all about her and her incredible life together within 10 minutes. And I'll share some interesting facts about her that you may not know yet. The first question is, in what year was Harriet Tubman born? A. 1820. B. 1822. C. 1825. D. 1828.
I am not sure.
The correct answer is A. Tubman's mother was a cook. Her father, Ben, was a woodsman who did the timber work on a plantation. Ben and Rit married around 1808. Historians think she was born in 1820 or possibly 1821, but birth records weren't kept by most enslavers. There is a myth that Harriet Tubman had 11 brothers and sisters, but the fact that Rit and Ben Ross had 9 children together according to local court records. 2. Where did Harriet Tubman grow up? A. New York City. B. Maryland. C. Virginia. Harriet Tubman was born into slavery on a plantation in Maryland. Her birth name was Araminta Ross, but she took the name of her mother, Harriet, later. There is a myth that Harriet Tubman's birth name, Araminta, is an African name. But the fact is, Araminta is a centuries-old English Puritan name. During Tubman's time, there were many women, both black and white, in Maryland and other places with the name Araminta or Mindy for short. Harriet Tubman had several relatives who were also named Araminta. Harriet changed her name sometime in the 1840s, possibly after her marriage or because of a religious conversion. 3. What did Harriet Tubman do for work before she became free? A. Teacher. B. Field worker. C. House slave. Life as an enslaved person was difficult. Harriet first lived in a one-room cabin with everyone in her family. When she was only 6 years old, she was loaned out to another family where she helped take care of a baby. She was sometimes beaten and all she got to eat was table scraps. Later, Harriet worked a number of jobs on the plantation, such as plowing fields and loading produce into wagons. She became STR. At the age of 13, Harriet received a horrible head injury. It happened when she was visiting the town. An enslaver tried to throw an iron weight at one of his slaves, but hit Harriet instead. The injury nearly killed her and caused her to have dizzy spells and blackouts for the rest of her life.
Imagine being a slave, working hard every day with barely any food or rest. That was Harriet's life.
Yikes, that sounds tough. How did Harriet Tubman escape slavery?
Can you guess? A. She bought her freedom. B. She ran away. C. She was freed by her owner.
I guess she ran away.
That is right. In 1849, Harriet's owner died from an illness. In fear of being sold away and separated from her family, Harriet and her brothers Ben and Henry decided to escape. Not too long afterwards, a notice was posted for their capture with an award of $300. Scared of what would happen to them if they were found, Ben and Henry decided to go back to the plantation. Harriet, however, decided to carry on, and using the networks of the Underground Railroad, she fled to Philadelphia. There is a myth that Harriet Tubman used the quilt code to follow the Underground Railroad. But the fact is Harriet Tubman never used the quilt code because the quilt code is a myth. Tubman used various methods and paths to escape slavery and to go back and rescue others. She relied on trustworthy people, black and white, who hid her, told her which way to go, and told her who else she could trust. She used disguises. She walked, rode horses and wagons, sailed on boats, and rode on real trains. She used certain songs to indicate danger or safety. She used letters written for her by someone else to trusted individuals like Jacob Jackson, and she used direct communication with people. She bribed people. She followed rivers that snaked northward. She used the stars and other natural phenomena to lead her north. She also trusted her instincts and faith in God to guide and comfort her during difficult and unfamiliar territory and times. 5. Why did Harriet return to the South after successfully escaping from slavery? A. To help other slaves escape via the Underground Railroad. B. To claim property that had been confiscated by slave owners. C. To seek revenge on her former owners. In 1850, the Fugitive Slave Act was passed. This meant that the formerly enslaved could be taken from free states and returned to their owners. In order to be free, formerly enslaved people now had to escape to Canada. Harriet wanted to help others, including her family, to safety in Canada. Harriet became famous as an Underground Railroad conductor. There is a myth that she led 19 different escapes from the South and helped around 300 of the enslaved to escape. She became known as Moses because, like the Moses in the Bible, she led her people to freedom. But the fact, Harriet Tubman helped over 70 other people escape to freedom in addition to her family and friends. However, the numbers in her biography were exaggerated to more than 300 by Sarah Bradford in 1868. Whether Harriet Tubman saved 70 people or 300, one thing is for sure, she was incredibly brave. She put her own life and freedom on the line to help others. 6. What was the Underground Railroad? A network of secret routes and safe houses used by enslaved people to escape to freedom. B. A system of punishment for runaway slaves. C. A train used to transport enslaved people.
Have you ever heard of the Underground Railroad, Matt?
I have, but I always thought it was a secret train that ran underground.
No, the Underground Railroad was not underground, and it wasn't an actual train. It was a network of people, both whites and free blacks, who worked together to help runaways from slave-holding states travel to states in the north and to the country of Canada, where slavery was illegal. 7. During the Civil War, what role did Harriet Tubman play? A. Nurse. B. Spy. C. Scout. D. Soldier. E. All of the above.
Wow.
I think she was a soldier.
Almost had it. But the correct answer is all above. Tubman also served as a scout, spy, soldier, and nurse for the Union Army during the Civil War. She is considered the first African-American woman to serve in the military. When Tubman served as a nurse in Port Royal, she made medicines from local plants and helped soldiers suffering from dysentery. She helped men with smallpox and miraculously did not get the disease. You may not know that during the American Civil War, more soldiers died from dysentery than from battle injuries. She served as a spy for the North and even helped on a military campaign that led to the rescue of over 750 enslaved people. 8. After the Civil War, what did Harriet Tubman do? A. Became a farmer. B. Became an activist. Became a superhero, just kidding. But she was pretty amazing. The correct answer is B. After the Civil War, Harriet lived in New York with her family. She helped poor and sick people. Tubman raised funds to aid freedmen and joined Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony in their quest for women's suffrage and cared for her aging parents.
Do you want to know more about Harriet, Matt?
Yay! I want to know, can I visit her house in New York now?
Harriet is a rock star, Matt. And sadly, you can't visit her house in New York now, but you can visit her on a $20 bill. That is a way to honor and celebrate her contributions to American history and society.
Harriet Tubman was a super cool lady who did some awesome things to help people. She fought for freedom and equality and never gave up. Even though she faced a lot of challenges, she never stopped trying to make the world a better place. We can learn a lot from Harriet and remember her as a true hero. So let's celebrate Harriet Tubman not just during Black History Month, but all year round.